Well, a happy May 1st. We're glad to have you tuned in for this special edition of the Gardener's Corner program today. Miss Jennifer Brown, who is the Family Home and Consumer Science Agent for the Person and Granville County offices of the Extension Service, will have a special presentation. I want to let you know that we're brought to you today by T.G. Brooks Company and Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers. Happy May, and take it away, Jennifer.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the Gardener's Corner edition. This is Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. I am in charge of our Family Consumer Science program, which is basically food, nutrition, health, wellness, diabetes, food safety, all of that. And I know that a lot of people have a lot of stress and they're very concerned about a lot of different things. Stress management is a part of your health and wellness as well. I recently did a workshop for people about stress management, and we kind of talked about the different ways that you can manage your stress. I gave people some tips and tricks. I gave them some information about the signs of stress, how to know if what you're going through is stress or if it's a different health condition, because we want to be able to manage our stress because it can lead to other illnesses such as diabetes, heart disease, stroke, or a lot of other things. So again, everyone's feeling stressed right now. If you'd like that information, and all of the information that I'm going to provide for you today is available on our Person or Granville Extension website. I have a Facebook page, facebook.com/PersonGranvilleFCS. You can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube. It's either Person Granville FCS or Person County FCS. So we're going to get into our talk today about nutrition and health and wellness, and we're going to kind of go over a broad range of topics because your health and wellness, because family consumer science is a broad topic. I brought up stress management because we're all kind of going through that right now, and April is Stress Awareness Month. So again, if you'd like to find that presentation that I did, or if you'd like to receive some handouts, you can always contact our office. You can email us, and throughout the program I'll be giving you that contact information several times so you can jot it down there. But first of all, the first thing that I always kind of go to when I talk about health and wellness, or if I talk about nutrition, is eating right. So I have my plate here, and I bring this up because I've showed it several times in all of the different workshops that I've had. One of the first things you notice about this is the color. It kind of pops. And you might notice my tablecloth as well, and a lot of other things I have up here are very colorful. I did that for a reason, because we often want you to eat a rainbow. You can see all of the different colors that I have on my plate because those colors are representing the different nutrients, the vitamins and the minerals that we need in our body to maintain our health and our wellness. First of all, the first side of the plate you want to look at is that fruits and veggies side, because that's half of your plate. And we tend to kind of scrimp on that side a little bit. We forget about the fruits and the veggies. They're more of a afterthought a lot of times for people, or the fruit is only as a topping or in some kind of dessert. And we want to make sure that you're getting these nutrients, but also that these nutrients are not starchy vegetables. You know, there's sugar that's naturally in fruit, so if you're diabetic, that's going to be a concern. So we definitely want to make sure you're getting some of those veggies. The vegetables that are kind of the best for you, or chock full of the most nutrients, are those dark green ones and the orange ones. So if you like your lettuces, your broccoli, asparagus, carrots, sweet potatoes, those are the kind of things that we encourage you to eat. But we want a variety, not the same vegetable over and over again, because some of them have different nutrients than others. When we go to the other side of the plate, we look at our protein. This is just a fourth of your plate, but most of us tend to focus on this fourth. We tend to even maybe make that fourth an actual half of our plate, because our protein source, typically a meat, is bigger than it should be. So focus on that protein, but the focus that you need to give is that it needs to be a lean protein. It needs to not have too much fat onto it, and it needs to be proper size. This is a plate. We give people this plate in some of our classes and say, I want you to eat off of this plate for 3 meals this week. And we encourage them to see if they can without piling it up too high. Because that protein, first of all, it doesn't even have to be a meat. It can be beans, it can be eggs, peanut butter. Those are wonderful sources of protein. But the portion size too is we tell you use your hand. This is a serving size. The palm of your hand is a perfect serving size for your meat. So if it's bigger than this, which if you go out to a restaurant, it typically is, cut that portion in half and have it for leftovers. It'll save you some calories and it'll save you some money too. Don't forget that grains category. I'm a bread eater. I love bread. So when I try to eat the bread or even rice or pasta, I'm going to try to make sure that it's a whole grain. It gives me more nutrients and it's going to give me more fiber, which is definitely more important as I continue to age. And then last but not least is that dairy category. We kind of put it out to the side here, but it's still an important part, especially as we age, because our dairy products have a lot of calcium in it. And that calcium is good for our bones, which can help prevent osteoporosis. So pay attention to that calcium, but just like the protein, we want this to be low fat or fat-free dairy. That's kind of easy when you're putting these things into a recipe, into a meal. You can use skim milk in a recipe and you won't really notice the taste. Now I do notice the taste difference if I put skim milk in my cereal. So if you can't handle skim milk, then go to 1%, okay? Even 2% is better than whole milk. And we're gonna kind of talk about the difference and why that is. So I have some test tubes right here. And I know you can't really see these, but just kind of show you there, you kind of have an idea of what a test tube looks like. So I have a test tube, and this one is about 3/4 of the way full. And this is a 1 cup of whole milk. This is how much fat is in a cup. And a cup, again, using your hand as your serving size, is about the size of a fist. So if you ball your fist up, that's about a cup of fruits, veggies, liquid, whatever you're measuring. So in my cup of milk, it's about 3/4 of a test tube of fat. So that's a chunk of fat. So every time I can go down to 2%, my level of fat's going to go down. Then 1%, then skim milk. There can be a very big difference. But even if you're eating these things, what we want to caution you against is eating out a lot. Now, right now, we fully encourage you to support the local businesses in whatever county you're living in. But when you are eating, try to make the best choices when you're eating out. I'm not trying to pick on a particular restaurant, but in a particular restaurant, a cheeseburger, we're just going to call it a cheeseburger. It's not just a plain, cheeseburger you get. It's one of the kind of double-deckers there that everybody loves. It's 3 test tubes of fat. That's how much fat is in this particular cheeseburger from one of the fast food restaurants that we know and love. That's just the burger. That doesn't count that a small French fry is a whole nother test tube of fat. So again, I'm not talking about salt, I'm not talking about calories, I'm not talking about sugar yet. I'm only talking about fat. Getting a burger and fries and you've had 4 test tubes of fat. So you can kind of see why we are becoming a society that's overweight, that's obese. So just making better choices instead of getting that burger that's a whole test tube, getting that 3 ounces of chicken, roasted chicken without the skin is about half of that test tube. So just making the difference choice there can be a lot healthier. Getting a grilled chicken sandwich from that same restaurant, instead of the 3 test tubes, this is maybe in half of 1 test tube is a grilled chicken sandwich from that same restaurant. But going even further, we always encourage eating fish, eating seafood. It has a lot of good omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for your brain development. This is probably not even the size of my thumb on this test tube. This is a 3-ounce fish. Now you'll notice that, like I said, the chicken and the fish is 3 ounces. That's typically what that serving, that palm size serving is about 3 to 5 ounces. So you can, use your hand kind of as a measurement, but if you do have a kitchen scale, you can always weigh it. And about 3 to 5 ounces is the serving size that we want you to eat when you're eating out or even eating at home. So if you're one of those people that I eat pretty well, that's what you tell yourself, that's great, keep doing that. But your portion sizes might be what's kind of hitting you there. Or it could be your snacks. So you only know what you eat, so you have to kind of figure out where you need to watch out for that. But one of the things that helps me watch out for portions is my measuring cups. So I love these little measuring cups. They kind of collapse inside so they don't take as much room up in my drawers. But if I'm eating a cup, if my cereal, I always use cereal as an example, is 1 cup. This is what a cup is. That's not a whole lot of cereal. And you can get your measuring cups out at home and look at this too. But if you look on the nutrition labels of your cereals, most of them are a cup to even 3/4 of a cup, okay? So that's not a whole lot. And that's how much cereal you're supposed to have. We typically kind of pour it to a certain line in the bowl. And then we're only supposed to have 1/2 of a cup of skim milk. So if you double this amount of cereal that you're having, and then you double the amount of milk that you're having, and it's not skim milk, it's whole milk or something with a little bit more fat, and you're having a cereal that has maybe a little bit more sugar than you should be having, you can see how even just a simple bowl of cereal, something that we tend to, well, hey, it's better than a biscuit from somewhere, it might be just as many calories and just as much sugar and just as much fat. I'm not saying go out and get you a biscuit because it's just as good for you as the cereal, because hopefully you're getting whole grains, or maybe even there's some fruit in your cereal, so you're getting some good benefits there. But watch those portion sizes. So these are really good, and this is what I use even when I'm plating up meals for dinner, or if I'm doing a workshop here at the office, is I will get my measuring cups out, and when I'm looking at my recipe, if I see that a serving size is 1/2 cup of something, when I am plating the food for the people in my workshop, I'm using a measuring cup and I'm actually scooping out 1/2 cup, because we get these big serving spoons and we just kind of put a little big old dollop on our plate, and those servings become big huge portions. So be careful about that. But we're going to just take a moment and get a word on from one of our sponsors.
Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers is located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Open for business Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 till 1. Call 919-693-4626, toll free 800-221-9267. Al, Hillary, and Will is there to serve you with all of your golf car needs, new and pre-owned. They also have a large selection of equipment trailers and utility trailers. Also there at Sandling Golf Cars, you will find Wilmington grills. Are you in need of repairs or Trojan batteries? See Dennis and Bradley at Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Call 919-693-4626 or toll free 800-221-9267. That's Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers, 613 Lewis Street in Oxford.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, I'm Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. And I work in both Person and Granville County, teaching food and nutrition, and kind of talking a lot about even food safety lately. So I'm going to get into some food safety information. I'm not going to discuss any food safety with regards to COVID-19 or coronavirus. We do have plenty of handouts and fact sheets on our website, or you can always contact the Extension Office in Person County at 336-599-1195, or at the Granville County Office, 919-603-1350. You can contact either of those offices, or you can just email me directly at jennifer.brown@ncsu.edu. Again, I have a Facebook page, an Instagram page, a Twitter page, and a YouTube page where I'm putting out videos, I'm putting out workshops, I'm putting out lots of little information and resources. So whatever social media you are on, check us out. /Person Granville FCS is our Facebook handle. Either that or Person County FCS is where we are on Twitter. So you can find us. So talking about food safety, one of the things that I always talk about in our food safety classes is making sure that you kind of have your food separated. And I think we kind of have a general idea about that I need to put my fresh stuff, ready to eat stuff here, and I need to put my raw products here. Hopefully you're doing the same thing in your refrigerator. You're separating it out. Now, again, a lot of us have a lot of food stocked in our refrigerator right now because we're spending majority of our time at home. And if you're like me and you have your kids at home, they won't stop eating. So I've had to get creative. Some of the stuff I've kept in the freezer and some of it I've kept in the refrigerator, and again, I buy shelf-stable stuff, which isn't always the healthiest thing, but again, right now you got to do what you got to do. So a couple of things that I did a little video before that I mentioned is if you are storing stuff in the freezer, you can use the Ziploc bags or you can use containers, but you want to make sure that they are freezer grade materials, okay? Whether it's the Ziploc bags, it'll say freezer no matter what size it is, or it'll stay storage. You really cannot use the storage bags to go into the freezer because it won't last as long. It's not a food safety issue, it's a food quality issue because your stuff will get freezer burned. Typically, most of your food will last a couple of months, maybe 3 months in your freezer, but if you're using storage grade materials, then it's not going to keep it as fresh, so it won't last as long. So you can use, again, containers, you can use just bags, whatever you like to do. We're getting ready for strawberry season, so I've got my freezer containers that I can use to store, and this is a quart. These are reusable, they're very durable. They have places that you can put labels on them, you can put what's in it. So that's one of the things is if you are putting stuff in your freezer, please label what it is and the date that you put it in there. Because I don't know about you, but when I make chilies or stews or any of those kinds of things, they all look the same after they've frozen. They just look like this big brown blob of stuff in my freezer. So I have to label it what type of meat or what type of chili or stew or whatever it is, as well as the date. The date on there is important, again, because of that food quality. I know that I've got, say, 3 months or 6 months based upon what this food is, that's how long that food is still going to taste just as good as when I put it in there. We can give you that information about how long your food will last in the refrigerator as well as the freezer, or the FDA.gov is a good website. They have that information, but you can always email me or check us out online and we'll provide that to you. So not only am I making sure that I have the right containers, I want to make sure that I'm using the right equipment. So I've been on the Gardener's Corner show and I've talked about food safety a couple of times, and one of the questions we always get is about washing your chicken. So the answer is no, you are not supposed to wash your chicken. I know some people are still going to do it anyway, but the reason we say that is because when you are washing your chicken, the water is spraying that chicken, and whatever bacteria is on it, typically it's salmonella, is bouncing right back off, and it's getting on your counters, it's getting on your clothes, your apron, if you have a bowl of lettuce right here, if you have your coffee mug right here, whatever, it's getting on all of these things because the salmonella has been shown that it can go about 3 feet from your kitchen sink where you're washing it. It serves no purpose. It's not killing any of the bacteria because your water is not going to get to the appropriate temperature to kill the bacteria that we're concerned about with poultry. And the only thing that you can do is make sure you're cooking it correctly. Make sure you clean up your workstation very well. And when you're cooking it, it needs to be cooked to 165 degrees. So we had to have about 3 different degree levels that we give people. And I will be doing a workshop and providing some information on our Facebook page and our website about food safety just in general. But just to let you know, chicken needs to be cooked to 165 degrees. I cannot look at my chicken and tell if it's done. You know, the color the juices run, or if I touch it and it springs back, none of that is going to tell me if my chicken is 165 degrees. And that is the temperature that we have determined that it needs to reach in order to kill salmonella. So it might look beautiful, it might look brown, it might still not be cooked enough. It might look perfect in the inside. So a lot of people will cut it, oh, there's no pink, it's great. You have to get it to that temperature. So we have food thermometers that we give out at our food safety classes, and these are the ones that I recommend. They're digital, and they're instant, basically. I mean, within 3 seconds, they kind of give you that response. All you do is you stick it in, just kind of the little tip of it there, into your meat. You want to stick your thermometer into the thickest part of the meat, which is typically the center. But you want to stay away from any bones or fat or anything like that, because that can also alter the temperature there. And it'll get your reading, and if you've got 165, you're good to go. If it's ground meat, like ground beef, ground pork, different things, it's going to be 155 degrees. Now, any type of chicken, whether it's ground or regular, is 165. Your ground meat, other ground meat, stuff like that, is going to be 155. Your steaks, your chops, your seafood is 145. So those are kind of just the simple ranges. There's a lot of other things depending on how specific your food is, you know, if you're eating wild game or different kinds of stuff. But those are the three that we typically remember. But if nothing else, 165 for your poultry or anything else, that's going to kill it all. So you need a food thermometer. They're only a couple of bucks. They're at Walmart. You can get the ones with the dial on the top where it has all the numbers. It's not digital. Those are at Food Lion as well, just a couple of bucks. And trust me, it's definitely worth saving yourself from any foodborne illnesses. But I've heard a lot of people lately, I've seen them online talking about losing power. We've had different storms and whatnot, so they'll call the extension office and they'll ask me, well, is my food in my freezer still safe? Is my food in my refrigerator still safe? The only way you know is by looking at your refrigerator thermometer. So this is what it looks like. Again, you can find this at a regular store, Walmart. I think even Food Lion has them, just a couple of dollars. You can put this one in your freezer or your refrigerator, because that's how you know what the temperature of your food is. If something accidentally happens to your deep freeze and it gets cut off or unplugged or whatever, you don't know if it's been unplugged for an hour or if it's been unplugged for 3 days. And just looking at the food and say, well, there's still some ice crystals or there's still whatever, that still doesn't tell me the temperature of your food. And so it's really hard to answer some of your food safety questions if I don't know, all the details, if I don't have those temperatures. I can kind of give you, an idea. I can kind of tell you that, well, maybe you just treat your freezer, the food that you have in there, if it hasn't fully thawed, like it's refrigerator food. So you have a certain amount of window. You can refreeze that food, but that's where your quality goes down. As long as it hasn't been sitting for days and gotten too high of a temperature, you can refreeze that food. You can take it out of the freezer, put it back in, as many times as you want, but every time you do that, the quality of your food is going to go down. So when I'm around my kitchen, I have a variety of different cutting boards. So you'll notice it kind of fits in with our Eat a Rainbow theme. We're very colorful today because I have different color cutting boards. So this green one, is for my vegetables. My green leafy vegetables, to remind me not only to eat a lot of color, but this is when I'm cutting up my lettuce. This is what I'm going to use to cut up my broccoli. I will grab the yellow one because that's kind of what my poultry is. So I want to make sure that I'm not using the same cutting boards for raw foods as I am ready to eat foods. And if I am doing it, I'm making sure that I cut up the lettuce first. So I'm cutting up that ready-to-eat food, and I get it out of the way, then I can cut my raw product. But you don't want to cut your raw product up and then use this same cutting board for your ready-to-eat foods. I've seen some people do that. I've seen some people say they've got one cutting board because you might not have a lot of extra cutting boards, and that's completely fine. Do not go buy extra cutting boards. Do not go buy bright, colorful ones. This is just what I use for my food safety classes when I'm teaching. So, but if you're going to use this cutting board and you want to cut up your chicken first, so you can go ahead and get it in the pan to cook, and then you can prep your salad, that's fine. You need to clean and sanitize and disinfect this, wash it before you use it. Please do not just flip it over and then use this side for cutting the lettuces, because all that salmonella that was on this side is now on your kitchen counter. So I've seen people do that. And again, I've got the red one for my red meat, and I even have a blue one for fish. These cutting boards I actually got, I think, from Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm not advertising for them, but it is cute that it has up here on the top, it tells me this one is for poultry, chicken, turkey, and duck. And it actually tells me they're supposed to be 165 degrees. So I love that these also have that reminder for people, the temperature of our foods. But again, any cutting board that you have is wonderful, just making sure that you're not cross-contaminating, that you're not cutting up your raw produce. And you're not using the same knife. I've seen people get different cutting boards, but then just kind of take a paper towel or a washcloth and just wipe their knife off, and that makes it apparently completely clean. No, it doesn't. You still have all of the germs that are on that knife that's going to be transferred to your food. And most of the foodborne illnesses, we always want to blame the different restaurants we go to. Most of the foodborne illnesses actually take place in your own home. I'm not saying, because you're dirty or nasty or anything like that. A lot of it actually comes from your produce. Because again, if this gets near your raw product, or if your hands aren't clean after you've touched the chicken, and then you go and touch your lettuce, you are transferring it. If you've washed your chicken because you didn't listen to me, and you washed your chicken and you have salmonella on your apron or on your hands or on stuff, and then you touch that, and then you touch the raw product, you are passing it along. So we want to make sure that you're not doing that. You're not being, you're not going to harm your family. You don't want to get people sick, especially young adults and older adults. Those are two of the people that are in our compromised populations that we're concerned about, because their immune systems are either still growing or their immune system has weakened because they are older. So if you have any food safety questions, I would be happy to answer them. You can always, again, shoot me an email at jennifer.brown@ncsu.edu, or go onto our Facebook page, facebook.com/PersonGranvilleFCS. You can leave a comment on one of our posts or shoot me a message, and I would be happy to answer some of that question. I'm going to be doing, again, workshops for food safety kind of in your home, or if you're a food handler, if you're a volunteer at a church, or if you've just been volunteering at food distribution sites. We're going to be kind of doing some information to help you with those things, because we want you to help. We want you to continue to volunteer, but we don't want you to get sick, and we also don't want you to pass any of those illnesses along. So we are going to take another break and hear from one of our sponsors.
The month of May is a special month. It's time to see beautiful weather and enjoy it. And May is full-time lawn and garden season, and the time to have some fun and beautify. T.G. Brooks Company has your garden plants, tomatoes, squash, cucumber, watermelon, and so many more, all the popular varieties. They have cantaloupe, and also they have fresh garden seed to put in that garden and get it growing. They have garden flowers. Everybody loves vinca, beautiful vinca, begonias. Get your fresh and ready for planting plants and seeds and garden vegetables at T.G. Brooks Company. And you want to reseed your lawn? How about fresh grass seed? They have fertilizer and lime. If you need mulch, man, they have mulch, even the triple ground. Do you need straw, pine needles? How about potting soil, planting soil, or cow manure? They have spreaders and they have aerators for rent. T.G. Brooks serves the homeowner and the commercial landscaper. They handle everybody with the same courteous service. They can arrange delivery, or you can pull up with your pickup truck, your trailer, and they'll load it up for you. They have bagged products. They'll put them right in your car or van. And remember, they have Bartlett animal feeds too. It's exciting to see May and enjoy May and the full-time growing season. Go to T.G. Brooks Company. Phone them at 364-2428. They've proudly served the homeowner and the farmer and those in construction since way back in 1936. And they welcome folks from all over Person County, Rougemont, Northern Durham, and of course all of southern Person County.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, I'm Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Agent with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service. Well, I have been talking about food nutrition, food safety. I've been talking about how to eat a rainbow. And I want to remind everyone about the importance of eating a rainbow. I showed my plate earlier, but this is a lovely book that I purchased recently for my children as well as just for some of my programs. It says, "Give it a go, eat a rainbow." And just kind of turning through these pages here, you can see the different colors. You can see the kids running and playing, and you can see all of the food. And this is a good book because it helps introduce my kids to the different colors, not only of the rainbow, which they're learning in school too, but of their food. And it talks about some of the nutrients that some of these foods are giving them, because as a parent, it can be very difficult to get them to eat food. I know a lot of parents always ask me questions about their picky eaters of the kids, but if you make it fun, if you let them help, that is what's helped me. I give them choices. Now, they might not get to choose everything that we're going to have for dinner. It might be I've already picked out the meat, and I give them maybe 3 options of the vegetables. Or I'll even say, give me a green vegetable after we've talked about the colors. So they've learned different vegetables. I ask them to help me prep it. When I'm cooking asparagus, I'll give them to my children, and they can cut it up. They can use a basic butter knife to cut up their asparagus. And it gives them a sense of kind of ownership. They helped prepare that meal. And even though asparagus might not be one of their favorite things, they are the ones who helped prepare it, to help prep it for me. They can even maybe help me cook it. It depends on how I'm cooking it. But they enjoy doing that, and they're more likely to eat it if they had a hand in preparing it. I'll get them to help me set up the table for dinner. Little things like that. So depending on the age of your children, I do have information that I can provide to you to give you an idea about, okay, at this level, your kids should be able to help you with these 5 things in the kitchen. And then when they get older, they can help you with these things in the kitchen, because you don't want to give them tasks that they can't do. It'll frustrate them. You also don't want to give them anything that's dangerous. And I have 2 children, and it can vary what I allow them to do. I might let my older one, who's 9, do something that I don't let my 6-year-old do. But it makes them feel important. It's kind of like sending them to school, and the teachers give them a task. You're going to be my door opener today. You're going to be the one who, we used to have to clean the chalk and different things like that. You're going to go make sure all the pencils are sharpened, or hand everybody crayons. It helps the kids keep them, their attention. It helps make them feel important, and it gives them something to do. So I try to do that at my house as well, and I give them fun little things to do. I have a little coloring book that I've given to my kids about eating a rainbow, because they need some different things. And it was not just coloring stuff. There's a lot of good information in some of these little books, and I get these from Oriental Trading or a variety of different places, but I also give these out at the different health fairs that I go to. So pay attention to our Facebook page, again, facebook.com/PersonGranvilleFCS, and you'll find out when we're going to set up a booth at different places, or even just you can contact me about getting some of the resources that you hear me talking about today. Because again, eating that rainbow, getting that colorfulness is what's going to help our children eat the food that we want them to eat to be healthy. But in order to be healthy, we also need to make sure we're getting our physical activity. And you can do that for a variety of different ways, whatever works for you. I know it was raining and muggy and crazy nasty this morning, so a lot of people probably didn't, you're not going to get up and go out for that walk like you might have been doing. So getting an exercise video, it doesn't have to be anything difficult. We give out this one for one of our diabetes class. And again, I'm not advertising, just a simple walking video. And it walks, you can walk 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. So you're not actually going outside. If you have a fear of falling, or you have a concern about being out and about right now, you can just walk in place. It's kind of walk forward, side steps, you're using your arms, you're kicking in place. If you have different physical ailments, again, you can do chair exercises, or you can stand up and hold the chair next to you if you feel that you're gonna fall. I've done a video and I've talked about these before. These are my exercise dice that, again, we've used at a variety of our different health fairs, been out as incentives and prizes before. So it's a simple dice. You can use a regular dice from a board game. You can get 2 of them. One of them you can label as this is your number dice, and the other one can be different activities. You can get a box of Kleenex and decorate the outside with paper and then draw the different activities. However you want to do it, be creative. My kids love doing these things during their art class time right now. And so all I do is just, just like normal, you roll the dice and it says, I'm gonna do 6 toe touches. And we'll do the 6 toe touches. But again, I give these dice to the kids and they get to roll it. And they get to decide what exercise we're gonna do. And as a parent, I've tried to do a good job in modeling for my children. So I'm not going to just give them here, this is your PE that you need to do. You roll the dice and then you do it. I'm going to do it with them. Whenever I go and do a nutrition program with a group of kids in the schools, if we're doing physical activity, I'm going to be doing the running right with them. I'm going to do my jumping jacks, because if they don't see me doing it, then they don't think it's important. They're kind of like, well, why do I have to do it if you don't have to do it? So my kids see me exercise, they see me use weights, they see me do different things, and they like to be active because of it too. It's the same thing with eating. If I go and I'm like, ugh, I hate broccoli, then before long my kids are going to say they hate broccoli because mama doesn't like it. They haven't even tried broccoli or something, but they don't like it because they associate it. So try to keep those things to yourselves. There are certain things I don't like to eat, but if I know my kids are watching, then I'm going to keep my mouth quiet and I'm going to eat it too. But that's just some physical activity. Again, there are so many videos on YouTube. If you're older, the Go for Life campaign, again, you can go online and search Go for Life. It is videos that they have from the National Institute on Aging. They've got 10-minute videos, 15, all the way up to 60 minutes. So you can decide how long of a routine you want to do. I know that our Roxborough Fitness here in the community has been putting stuff on their Facebook page. They've been doing little videos of exercises so you can exercise with them. I know Planet Fitness has been doing videos, Facebook Live, I believe, every night at like 7 o'clock or so. I know there's several, even just YMCAs or different things. A lot of places are posting videos either on their Facebook or on their YouTube. But if you don't have the internet or technology, that's okay. You can grab a canned good. It weighs about 1 pound. I've got a weight right here. If you have a bottle of water, that's about 1 pound. You can lift weights. You can walk in place. You don't have to have a video. You know how to walk. You know how to dance in place, turn on some music, move around. You know how to do sit-ups and push-ups and crunches and all the stuff that we hate to do. You know how to do all these things. So we want people to get up, to not be so sedentary. Every 30 minutes, get up and move for 2. That's something that we recommend. That's something that we want to encourage people to do, because we want you to have those health benefits. We want you to make sure that you're not gaining weight because all you're doing is sitting at home right now and you're snacking. And then you're stressed, so you're snacking some more. And you're not getting that physical activity. I know I'm not getting as much as I used to because I'm not at work walking up and down the halls. I'm not walking out to my car. I'm not going as many places and being as physically active. It's limited. So we need to be more creative and to do the different things that we're doing. But if you are snacking or eating, just try to watch that. I try not to purchase a lot of that stuff and keep it around my house because I'm more likely to eat it if it's there. If you are interested in some different simple recipes, again, I put a couple on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or different things. Some of them are some cooking videos, so you can actually see a demonstration of me making them. Some are a simple recipe. So a simple thing I have right here, I always get about desserts is, oh, I'm such a dessert fan. I can't stop eating desserts. You don't necessarily have to. You just have to not make them so horrible, so big, so whatever. So these are 2 ingredients that I have. I had someone ask me about simple recipes. They don't have a lot of money or a lot of stuff. I have a box of cake mix here. It's a yellow box of cake mix. You can get angel food cake, you can get yellow cake mix, whatever. And then I have a can of pineapple chunks, crushed pineapple, however you want to do it. And literally these are the only 2 ingredients. You open the box, you open the can, you pour together, you mix, you put in a pan, like a 9x13 or 8x8 or whatever, and you follow the directions on the box that tells you how long to cook it, 25 to 30 minutes depending on what type of pan you have. So you don't have to use the vegetable oil or the the liquid that's in the box. We usually use angel food cake because this one does call for eggs. You don't have to use all of that liquid. This is replacing that liquid, okay? So get you that angel food box and get you that pineapple can, and this is going to take the place because you're going to pour the juice, but you want to make sure that you're getting the 100% juice. You're not getting the cans that are full of syrup because then you're going to make your cake a little bit extra unhealthy. But when you're eating your desserts, this is the key to your desserts, is follow that portion size. It's okay, you're going to see me, I'm going to eat an apple pie or some of the desserts that are out there, but I'm going to try to pay attention to my portion size. So this box right here says a serving size is 1/10 of the package. So if I'm putting this into my 9x13 pan, I usually cut that probably in about 12, because I cut it 4 rows and 3 columns that way. So I'm going to have 12. So that's less than a serving. So I'm only getting maybe 150, 200 calories, depending, again, how big of it is in my desserts. And I'm getting some fruit here. So I'm getting natural sugar. I didn't put any sugar in this dessert at all. I'm getting natural sugar. So that's a simple recipe that you can do, and you can use whatever kind of fruit you like. I've done another video where I was talking about making apple crisps. My children love making apple crisps. So again, we get the apples, we get oatmeal, and you get cinnamon, and all that. There's like 5 ingredients to it. And it's a healthier type. Instead of having that pie, because the pie crust is where all the fat and the sugar and the butter and all that lovely stuff that we love to eat, but it doesn't love our waistline. So I'll try to avoid the crust, and I get the oats. So you put all the apples and the brown sugar and the cinnamon in the bottom, and then you get the oats, and you kind of layer it on top, and you bake that. And it's a nice, crunchy dessert, and it's delicious. It's not as many calories. I'm getting some fruit, which is good for me, and I'm not getting as much of the guilt. But if I am going to have that apple pie or I'm going to have that cake, again, paying attention to your portion size. So if you've got that 9-inch cake pan right there that you either purchase or you make your own pie plate, that's fine. It says it's about 8 servings. So cut it into 8 servings when you buy it. Don't go in there and cut 1/4 of the piece of pie at a time. That's what's going to get you. But also be careful, even if you're having this cake or you're having that pie, the extra toppings. The ice cream, the whipped cream, even if you're making a salad, all of the salad dressing, all of those things just will add up over time. And we want to kind of stay away from those different things because it's going to add to our waistline. It's going to cause more problems with our heart, with diabetes, with cancer can be increased. Your risk of cancer can be increased based upon your nutrition and your inactivity. So we want to stay away from all those bad things. Nobody wants any of those things. So one of the things, and this will be the last thing I talk about before we leave for the rest of Gardener's Corner. Right now, a lot of people are at home, and they're either starting a garden or they're canning. So again, I'm not the one to ask your gardening questions. We have Johnny Coley. He is our horticulture extension agent. They can answer all of your questions about your gardens and how to get them to grow. We can talk about soil testing, all that kind of stuff. I talk about canning and freezing. I talk about food preparation, those kinds of things. So if since we've kind of been difficult lately where you can't come into the office, but you can always call in and say that you want to drop off your canner lid. Because if you are canning, you need to test your dial gauge pressure canner every year. So if you haven't started your canning but you want to, and you normally bring your stuff to the office, you can still do that. Let me know that you're going to do that, or give our office a call. Person County is 336-599-1195. And Granville County is 919-603-1195. 1350. You can call either of those numbers, let whoever knows there that you want to drop off a canner lid. I don't need the whole canner, just the lid. We only test the dial pressure gauges. If you have a weighted gauge, you're in luck. It doesn't need to be tested, because unless you flung that weight or you flung that gauge around, it's not going to throw off the calibration. But we need to test these on my master test kit to make sure that this dial is reading the same as mine, because you don't want to be thinking you're doing it at a certain temperature or a certain pressure and you're completely off, because then you can have food safety issues. So you can bring the canner by. I just need your name and telephone so I can call you when I'm done testing your pressure canner. If you don't have a pressure canner but you are interested, one of our sponsors for Gardener's Corner typically is T.G. Brooks. They sell plenty of canning supplies, as well as several other places in the community, so you can always go get that. If your gasket's messed up, your dial's messed up, a lot of those places, if they don't have that equipment, they can order that for you. And we typically do Presto. Again, my tester is for Presto canner lids, so if you have one, you can always bring it by the office. And again, if you have any other questions about food, nutrition, food safety, health and wellness, the Extension office is here for you. I'm Jennifer Brown, Family Consumer Science Extension Agent. Please follow and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/person@GranvilleSCS. Thanks for tuning in.